And I'm Raw Nights. I perform like Mike. Any of them, Tyson, Jordan, Jackson, Brunson. Welcome to episode 101 of the Access to Combat podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next. Hugo got the Knicks in 6. Joined by my co-host.
It's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down UFC Vegas 107, Barber versus Blanchfield. And on the boxing side, we got a couple of main and co-main events spanning across about 3 different cards we're going to cover. But before we get into any of that, my brother, tell him what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
First fight on the card at women's strawweight, we have Resendiz Dos Santos going one-on-one with Ardelean. Dos Santos is 14-8 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 29 years old. Ardelean, 9-7 overall, fighting out of England, but repping Romania, 33 years old. Not the best way to start off a card, coming off of, Memorial Day weekend, excited for fights, and then I gotta watch this shit. Battle of the mid here. We got 2 women on a 2-fight losing streak, respectively. Loser leaves town. Both might get cut, depending on how terrible this looks. I'll start on the Dos Santos side. You can argue she should be 2-0 in the UFC instead of 0-2. But when you're going life and death with Tumar
and Allan
Bars, it ain't the best look. I mean, she technically got robbed on both of them, but when you don't go for it and you leave it up to the judges, that's the kind of shit you get, right? Alice, on the other hand, was brought in to lose to Shannon Bannon, who, we definitely think high of on this podcast.
Horrible fight.
Oh, who did that?
Who said that?
Who did that? Also on her own 2-fight losing streak, I think her last fight was against Melissa Martinez, which I think she was coming out of Combate Global. Decent striker. I think Dos Santos is aside. She's the better technical striker. For as good as her striking is, I think her jiu-jitsu is a little better. Alice is probably not a terrible dog shot for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. 1, tough woman. Hard to get out. She'll take 2 to give 1. And I think she has Dos Santos matched here physically. Give me Dos Santos here. Fight probably goes the distance. Fight ends in sub, particularly on the Dos Santos side, is probably live depending on how nice and plump it looks on the line, but give me Dos Santos here for the win.
Yeah, and I see you struggling with the dog or pass spot. I get it because she's sitting at a 2-1 right now, Alice, and honestly, this fight's probably going to be a split decision. You have Dos Santos who struggle with 2 anim weights low-key. They probably shouldn't be fighting at strawweight. I'm with you here. It's dog or pass, but this is a fight that I'm probably going to pass on just because it's hot dog shit. And it's hot dog shit to start a card coming off of Memorial Day weekend. It was fabulous this weekend. I hope you guys got some sun and had some fun.
In the sun. Bars.
Back to the shit Apex cards that we get, unfortunately. So this is a bad fight, man. And this is a fight that I would probably recommend staying off of. But dog or pass, but Dos Santos is definitely lean here.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight, we have MarQuel Mederos going one-on-one with the Zulu Warrior, Bolaji. Mederos, 10-1 overall, fighting out of Colorado, 28 years old. Oki, 9-2 overall, fighting out of Belgium, hailing from Belgium, 29 years old. I'm a little higher on Mederos than the average guy. I mean, his last fight, if you go back a podcast episode or 2, me and my brother were a little split on this one. I think if I remember correctly, I was on the Mederos side. He like Austin Hubbard. That fight went down. I was sweating my fucking ass off because you could argue Mederos did not win that fight.
You can make a strong argument.
You can make a very strong argument Mederos did not win that fight.
There was more than convincing evidence that Hubbard won that fight.
But Mederos was able to get the win there. Now he's fighting Bolaji here, who, if you do compare him to Austin Hubbard, is probably a step down in name and experience, but a step up in athletic ability, talent,
physicality
100%. So it's, do I trust Oki, who doesn't have the best resume, but does have all the talent in the world here to give Mederos the same kind of trouble Austin Hubbard did, especially in the grappling department? On top of the fact that Oki,
cracks.
Not the best hands, but he cracks. He's got some speed. in those mitts. Mederos, I do give him the edge on the striking side. I do think he is the better striker, and I think his takedown defense is a little underrated. I mean, again, Hubbard couldn't really get him out of there, but
big step up in competition from Mederos, so I think we should give him, like, that was one of his more experienced opponents, right? So
exactly. Even though, you know, he might have, put the horse before the carriage. No, is it the carriage before the horse? How does that saying go?
I think either way is incorrect. Like, especially if they're like baby horses.
Oh, yeah, good pony. Yeah, you're not wrong.
You shouldn't put any baby horses on the carriage.
Where's the animal control? I don't understand. But Inoki's last fight against Chris Duncan, it was competitive until it wasn't. Where, I mean, I think Duncan had him in a headlock, jumped Gilly. The man just passed out. Didn't tap, but was out cold. I think he just kind of got there. I mean, Chris Duncan, to his credit, very experienced fighter, very high IQ fighter.
Slick ground game too.
Very slick ground game. Don't know if Mederos got the same ground game. I'm split on this. I kind of want to go Oki here, and it hurts because I like Mederos, but you know what? Give me Oki here to put on his singlet. Give Mederos some problems. Split decision. Probably goes the distance. Dogger pass, another Dogger pass, but give me Oki here, but I'm not the most confident in this pick. Probably by decision.
Agreed. Dogger pass here. As my good friend Leonardo DiCaprio said here.
What does he say here?
At first you have my interest. Now you have my attention. Not. Dogger pass. Oki's the lean, but that's where I'm at with this as well.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight, we have the Monkey King, Jordan Leavitt, going one-on-one with Kurt the Hurt Holobaugh. Leavitt, 11-3 overall. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, 29 years old. Holobaugh, 21-9 overall. Fighting out of Franklinton, Louisiana, 38 years old. Me and my brother here are big fans of Kurt the Hurt here. Holobaugh, solid fighter, a little bit on the older side. He's never going to be a contender anymore, but, a good gatekeeper, to really check these young prospects when they come in. Fighting a guy here in the Monkey King, another guy that I'm a fan of personally. The man can make it clap, you know what I'm saying? He does what he got to do. I keep this one short and sweet. The Monkey King got the obvious wrestling and grappling upside here, in my opinion. I think Monkey King is going to be able to get his grappling going, take him down. I don't think he's going to be able to finish him. Actually, no, let me take that back. I think he might be able to get a finish here, but give me the Monkey King here for the win. In terms of anything from the betting side, I don't have anything at the moment. I kind of want to lean fight and sub, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. Just give me the Monkey King here to put the hurt on Kurt the Hurt.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like Kurt has good boxing, good jiu-jitsu off his back, very slick jiu-jitsu to be frank, but he's going against a seasoned grappler here, and Kurt is not Patty the Batty, not someone with extreme size over Jordan Leavitt, not a guy that's young. Jordan Leavitt, I think, has the better wrestling here. Kurt Holobaugh cannot stop the takedown, and he would prefer to lay there like he did against Trey Ogden, unfortunately, and not get subbed and just lose the fight and then have some moral victory. He's done it too many times, and I respect him. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. I've lost money and won money on Kurt on this podcast, so I love his game. I think he's fun. I think the UFC is not doing him any favors with this matchmaking. I think he could be getting better matches to really showcase his violence, to be frank. Him versus Jim Miller, take my money. I love everything about that fight, but fortunately, because I like the Monkey King too, it's just a bad matchup for Kurt here. I think Jordan's going to be able to get to his positions. I don't think he's going to finish him. I think it goes to decision. Jordan Leavitt is nifty on the floor. So where it gets interesting is the fight on the feet and whether or not Kurt can make something happen. But if you're going to bet Kurt, I think you have to bet him by knockout here. I don't think he's going to win by sub. He's not going to win the minutes in this fight either. So give me Jordan Leavitt by decision here.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Andreas Gustafsson, Bane, going one-on-one with the problem, the officer, Trevin Giles. Gustafsson, 11-2 overall, fighting out of Sweden, hailing from Sweden, 34 years old. Giles, 16-7 overall, fighting out of Houston, Texas, 32 years old. Not Gustafsson's original opponent, originally supposed to fight Jeremiah Wells, and Jeremiah Wells, for some reason or another, didn't really look into it, ended up having to pull out. Trevin Giles, I think, unwillingly stepping in to fight the debuting Gustafsson. The best way to describe Gustafsson's style is bull in the china shop. Unga bunga, walks forward. He will not let you take a step forward. You will be walking backwards essentially this whole fight. He does not care. He'll take one on the chin. He'll take two on the chin. He's going to put you against the cage, drop elbows, grind you out, beat your ass up. Not the most technical, not the most proficient style, but is entertaining as fuck. Giles, Again, stepping in short notice. It's probably not going to be the pick here for me, but he does have potential for an upset depending on how wide this line is.
Agreed.
I'm assuming they're going to open up Gustafsson around maybe -3. 3-1 favorite. Dog or pass on Giles if the line is wide enough, but it's probably Gustafsson for the win here. He probably gets the finish. I don't think this fight goes the distance only because of Gustafsson's style, but give me Gustafsson for the win and fight doesn't go. Probably something I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm with you here. The unders are attractive. We'll see what happens, like with the lines, obviously, for all this, because if they open up Giles at like a +500, I think it's playable. This guy doesn't have any UFC experience. He's not the highest IQ fighter. Giles can crack. And the thing is, even though he didn't have a full camp, I think you just put a nice little bet on Giles round 1. He is definitely the more, I guess, technical fighter, you could say here. He's more UFC experienced. He does hit hard. He's kind of big for the weight class. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to like Giles if it's like a +5, +600. And another thing is the fact that he didn't have a training camp. He might just go in there with no expectations, so he might flow better. We've seen him in flow state and he's fucking good. So I just think if the line's disrespectful against a guy who I don't think has the best fight IQ, I think it might be worth a play. So this is dog or pass, probably more on the pass side as my brother mentioned, but we'll see how the lines break out close to the fight time and how he looks on the scale.
Next fight on the card at women's bantamweight, we have Fenomeno Ketlen Vieira going one-on-one with Macy Chiasson. Vieira 14-4 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 33 years old. Chiasson 10-3 overall, fighting out of Dallas, Texas, 33 years old. Interesting women's fight, especially in the bantamweight division here. Chiasson on the way up, has been getting better as a fighter, has been improving her striking, has been going to the grappling a little more. Ketlen Vieira on the other side has the better experience, probably the physicality edge here. I mean, she just came off a 3-round fight with
Kayla Harrison.
Hard to finish, and for the most part, not really the finishing type, but she's, you know, tough as nails. I expect this fight to be closer than I think most people expect. I kind of wanted to lean Chiasson initially. It's tough because I feel like Vieira does have more tools, but at the same time, it's like
these fighters make questionable decisions at times.
They both do. I don't trust either one's IQ. I'll say fuck it. It's a coin flip fight for me. I think Chiasson is probably the side, but I'm leaning Vieira here for the upset.
Yeah, you know,
if it is an upset, I don't even know what the lines are. I'm assuming it's close.
It's a pick'em.
That makes complete fucking sense in my brain. Give me Vieira here. More experience, probably the harder hitter, fought the better brand. Macy's still got to prove it, to be honest. So fuck it. Give me Vieira here for the win.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I seen Kayla Harrison have a hard time taking down Vieira in certain spots, as well as holding her down in certain spots. And I don't think Chiasson's the wrestler or like the level of athlete that Kayla Harrison is. So this fight for me predominantly is going to be dictated in the feet unless Ketlen Vieira wants it to be dictated on the floor. Vieira showed that her boxing against a girl who's a little bit of a novice on the feet and Kayla Harrison, not bad for the division. Bantamweight's a mess, to be frank with you. And Chiasson's a girl who's moving down from 45, right? She's had 1 or 2 fights here. She stopped Bueno Silva in the second round, made a ton of money on that. It was like sitting at like plus 3,300. I won like 6 units that night, so beautiful play.
Easy money.
But I feel like this fight is interesting in a lot of ways because what versions of these girls are we going to get that night? I would love to see how these girls are talking this week, what their motivations are. Ketlen Vieira is a girl who's been slighted from the title multiple times. What's her motivation to get up and fight a lower opponent after pretty much exposing Kayla Harrison in a lot of ways?
And she's going to be undersized in this fight, both in height and reach as well. Chiasson is going to be the bigger girl.
Yeah, and the problem with Chiasson, she has durability issues low-key. Gets kicked from the bottom in her liver by Irene Aldana, gets dropped. There's fights that I thought she should have won where she kind of just packed it in, but then again too, it might have been because of the weight cut. Ketlen's got the better skills and she's got more of the experience, which is why I'm leaning her. But Macy Chiasson, I just feel like she has a lot more to show. Like my brother said, I think this is a show me spot. But until she shows me, I think Vieira's got to be the lean here.
Next fight on the card at men's flyweight, we have Puro Uso, Allan Nascimento going one-on-one with the pastor, Jafel Filho. Nascimento 20-6 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 33 years old. Filho, the pastor, 16-3 overall, also fighting out of Brazil, also hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. This is going to be a good, I think, entertaining fight. 2 very good, well-rounded Brazilians coming from 2 very well-known and well-renowned camps. I'm a fan of both these gentlemen. I go back and forth on this one because I do think Jafel has been more active. Jafel has probably got the better boxing of the 2 gentlemen here, and I guess I lean him on the striking edge maybe slightly, but I think I'm going to pick Nascimento here. With the caveat that I know it's a little scary that the man hasn't fought in over 2 years.
Yikes.
I don't know if that's his fault necessarily. They've lined him up against 4 different opponents, but for some reason another has pulled out or they've pulled out. I do trust that he's got the better jiu-jitsu. I do trust that if Jafel is on his back, he might want to stay on his back, where I think Allan will always be trying to search for dominant positions no matter what, either off his back or on top. The striking isn't terrible. I think the boxing needs a little work, but I think he throws enough decent leg kicks where the striking might be a 50-50. I still lean Jafel though, but give me Allan Nascimento with the 2-year layoff in a very close fight that probably goes the distance, but Nascimento's the side I'm picking.
Yeah, I'm on the Nascimento as the lean. He has the size edge here too, but I am worried about his inactivity. Filho is a fast starter. He is the dog in this fight. I think he has more of the opportunistic jiu-jitsu in terms of attacking the legs. I mean, this is if you're an MMA guy, like a guy who really loves the sport, you're going to love this fight. Because the grappling exchanges are going to be fucking absurd. They're going to be moving in certain positions to avoid submission holds, be setting up heel hooks, getting to head and arms positions, everything. These guys are elite on the floor. Like, and I'm stuttering saying elite because that's how high level these guys are. We've seen Filho get Mokaev and as deep of a knee bar as you could get. And Mokaev can fucking grapple. We have Nascimento, who literally has only lost to a Lembekov, who's legit. Good jab, good power, big for the weight class, can also grapple and brings that Dagestani wrestling. So this is a tough fight to call. Fight ends in sub, obvious play here. I'd be surprised if it's anything over plus 300. But I feel like someone's going to get subbed in this fight, low key, because these guys are so good and the exchanges, plus club and sub is live here, especially on the Filho side because he has the better boxing and he is a fast starter. He is going to go after him, especially after the 2-year layup. I worry about Nascimento a little bit. I think he's the lean here, Nascimento, because I think he's the more physically bigger and more talented guy. But man, Filho's live as fuck in this fight. And I would not be surprised if he pulls this out. So it's dog or pass, fight ends in sub, and we'll see how it gets closer to fight time and once these lines officially open up for us. Follow us on all social media platforms as usual.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have the Savage, Zach Reese, going one-on-one with Thunder. Duško Todorović. Reese, 8-2 overall. Fighting out of Shiner, Texas, 31 years old. Duško, 12-5 overall. Fighting out of Serbia, hailing from Serbia, 31 years old. Well, you know every Apex card is going to have the Unga Bunga fight of the card. And ladies and gentlemen, we've landed on it. This is going to look like happy hour at Applebee's. It's going to be gross. There's going to be a lot of swanging, a lot of banging. Somebody's going to get knocked the fuck out. This fight does not go the distance. I think the favorite is probably Reese. He probably should be the favorite, but I don't have that much confidence in the man himself as well. And I know a lot of people are on Reese. I don't like the guy personally. I think he's okay. This is a winnable fight for Duško, in my opinion, as well. That's why instead of picking a side here and for a bet, give me the unders, give me KO, maybe even sub if the line is wide enough. But fight doesn't go under 1.5. But because this is a podcast and we have to make a pick, give me Zach Reese, low to medium confidence, but it'll be a fun fight to watch.
Yeah, Zach Reese is definitely a lean, but he's not like a slam dunk pick. He's not someone you add in your parlay. These are the Homer Simpsons of this division fighting each other. Yeah. And Zach Reese doesn't have a good chin. Duško does have some decent striking, so it's like I don't feel very comfortable even leaning Zach Reese. Like there's a high volatility rate on Zach Reese fights.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the best way to describe this fight is it's going to be a car crash and you're betting on the guy who wore a seatbelt.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Whoever survives, we don't know.
Yeah, these guys are so Homer Simpson-ish though. We don't know if they know what the seatbelt is.
Somebody's flying through a window.
Yeah, maybe both of them. Yeah. Double knockout. I think this fight, the way to play it's unders and then parlay the fight doesn't go. That's the best way to play this fight. I don't feel comfortable telling you guys with your hard-earned money to play Zach Reese. Some guys are super high on him. I think it's because he has the grappling edge here. And I think that's the only reason. But dude, he's not good. I mean, there's just not a better. His wrestling entries are not good.
Let's act like the guy's not hittable either.
Yeah, he's very hittable. This is just a bad fight. And Duško can crack, bro. Like Duško has landed damage on other fighters. So
probably throws the straighter punches as well.
Much straighter. So for me, this is unders. That's how I would play it. Give me Zach as the lean man, but definitely not with a high degree of confidence.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have the Welsh gangster, Oban Elliott, going one-on-one with Ramiz Brahimaj. Elliott, 12-2 overall, fighting out of Wales, hailing from Wales, 27 years old. Brahimaj, 11-5 overall. Fighting out of Dallas, Texas, 32 years old. This is probably going to be a one-sided fight in my opinion. I don't like to say that kind of shit, but at the same time, like, Oban Elliott, in my opinion, is a guy that I kind of overlooked, have gained respect for, and now I think the guy's got not only great potential, but I think he's very good. One of these guys who I kind of just like, you know, you never really want to judge a book by its cover. I 100% did that. I apologize to Oban. The wrestling is there. The striking is solid. Brahimaj on the other end, I also think the guy is decent, but the man can't put it together. His last loss was against Themba, which in my opinion is not the greatest look. I think Oban's got way better wrestling than Themba. His last win was against Mickey Gall, a guy who probably should have retired a couple of years ago, in my opinion. Step up for Brahimaj, and in my opinion, a step down for the Welsh gangster. Give me Oban here to possibly finish Brahimaj. Don't know how I'm going to bet it, but that's what I'm going to be picking.
Well, listen, I get the doubts about Oban. He calls himself the Welsh gangster. There's no gangsters in Wales. That's one. All right. So there's only gangsters and real G's in New York, Chicago, and Compton, California.
Ooh, and they all move in silence like lasagna. Bars.
But, yeah, but impressed me very much in this last fight against Hafez. Very good takedown defense. That's what really improved a ton from camp to camp. And a lot of people were surprised at the performance because we thought Hafez was going to be able to give him a run for his money with the grappling. Dude's a physical brute. Dude is durable as shit. Took a ton of damage from JDM and almost beat JDM on short notice. Also looked pretty impressive in the last couple of performances as well. And Oban made it look easy. Picked him apart for 2 rounds, stopped him in the third. This is Oban's fight to lose. I don't think Brahimaj has anything for him, to be frank. I think Brahimaj is going to struggle everywhere. I think he's got him covered anywhere. If you could find plus money anywhere on Oban's finish, you take it and you hide it and you don't tell anybody about it because you're going to keep betting it and betting it close to the fight time and just stacking money and stacking cheddar cheese. But I doubt you're going to find plus money on his finish. I think he probably gets it done second round knockout. I'll go that far because I think Brahimaj is at least decently durable. You have Oban, who's not like the biggest puncher. He's more of a guy who puts you away with volume, but I think he's got him covered everywhere. This is Oban's fight to lose. Give me Oban by knockout here.
Next fight on the card at men's light heavyweight, we have the Hanyak Dustin Jacoby going 1-on-1 with Bruno Lopez. Jacoby, 29-1. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, 37 years old. Lopez, 14-1 overall. Fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 32 years old. This isn't a Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez fight. This is a Dustin Jacoby versus Father Time fight. Because that's the real cap on this one, right? I mean, I keep trying to fade the man, but the man just keeps defying time, defying his age, finding ways to win when you least expect it.
Made some good money on the Petrino fight where he knocked his ass out.
Yes.
That fraud.
Well, I mean, you know.
Petrino's a fraud.
I don't want to go that far, but he did get a little exposed. You know what I'm saying?
Dominated and exposed.
The pants got pulled down. The ass was out. That's what happened there in that fight. He's going 1-on-1 here now with Bruno Lopez, who is not a better striker than Jacoby, in my opinion. Possibly even a step down from Victor Petrino. But he does have a path to victory here. And the path to victory here is what he did in his last fight. Get the grappling going, push the man against the cage, took away the guy's striking, and beat him up against the cage, essentially. Try to take him down over and over again. Dustin Jacoby doesn't really have the greatest takedown defense. This is probably the most grapple-heavy fighter he's fought since Ian Cutelaba. This fucking fight stinks. Bruno has a clear path, probably should win this fight, even though I think his striking's dog shit. He does have power. He is going to be the slower probably of the two gentlemen, and I don't really trust his gas tank. I think I just talked myself off of fucking Bruno. Give me Dustin Jacoby to defy Father Time once again, find a win, probably by decision or late round finish.
Yeah, and Vegas agrees with you here. They got Jacoby lined at a minus 180. I think Jacoby has good enough footwork. He's fought big, strong men before, and has been able to keep himself off the floor. And if he gets put on the floor, very good at cage walking and getting back up. Doesn't stay on the floor long, just does not surrender a ton of time. Yeah, debunked and decoded Victor Petrino, put him in Never Neverland. I think there's a step down in competition. I think Bruno is
horrible fighter.
Pretty bad. Just to put it that way. I'm not impressed.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's bad. I just don't think he's very good. I don't think he's UFC caliber. There's a guy that I think he's gonna have a hard time tracking down and cornering. low key, because Dustin's footwork, if anything, is probably there's a guy who fought Poatan and did professional kickboxing for years. And those skills don't go away. His instincts don't go away. He's still knocking out big guys in this weight class, so you know he can hurt Bruno. Give me Dustin Jacoby by knockout or decision here. I shouldn't be picking a guy who's going against Father Time. He is closer to 40 than he is to 30 here. Bruno's so damn bad that it's just very difficult for me to get behind him, even though he has a clear path of victory. I've seen Dustin go against bigger guys who can wrestle, who have the grappling advantage, who can get him in a head and arm series, who can do a whole bunch of things, and then they don't, and they either get picked apart on the feet for 3 rounds or they get knocked the fuck out. I gotta go with the 37-year-old here that I think just has the better skills on the feet and the higher caliber of UFC experience, and against the guy who I think just doesn't belong at this level, to be frank.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have the Korean Tiger, Seung-Hoon Ko, going one-on-one with Billy Ray Goff. Ko, 11-2 overall, fighting out of South Korea, hailing from South Korea, 31 years old. Goff, 9-3 overall, fighting out of Connecticut, 26 years old.
Billy Ray Goff, obviously from the less interesting place.
Yeah, Connecticut is, a bit fucking boring.
Highway between New York and Boston, that's what I call it.
Pretty much. Second Jersey, as some other people might call
Jersey. Jersey to the north.
Northern Jersey. Listen, Ko, for a guy whose nickname is the Korean Tyson, I think he was the first South Korean signed off of the Contender Series, if I remember correctly. The guy's just a left hand. He's got decent grappling. Doesn't look as strong as he is. Was able to get some takedowns on his Contender Series opponent, who was the favorite, but didn't really look that good at all either. The guy looked like Afro Thunder from fucking Ready to Rumble. That's a throwback for all you video game heads out there. Wasn't really impressed with Ko. I'll just keep it a buck. I think Billy Ray Goff is just a better version of Ko. He's the better boxer. He's better defensively. I think he might even have the better wrestling. Both guys are hittable. Both guys keep their hands down. I'm a bit of a Goff fan. I took him in his last fight against
Trey Waters.
Trey Waters. Went head to head with my brother here. Ate a little shit there, but you can't tell me that wasn't a good fucking dog pick. That's all I'm gonna say.
My brother thought Trey Waters was Crystal Waters. Sadly mistaken.
Well, Trey Waters took me to the fucking ocean and drowned me. That's what happened there.
It was a close fight. It was a very close fight.
It was a good fight. Like I said, I think Goff is just the better version of Ko here. Give me Goff here to do whatever he wants. He might finish Ko. I don't think Ko is that good. Billy Ray Goff is going to be the side here for me, and I don't think this fight is going to go to distance.
Yeah, Billy Ray Goff is the opposite of Billy Ray Cyrus. And yeah,
what a comparison.
What a transition.
That's crazy.
I mean, this is going to be violent because Billy Ray Goff's, all his fights are violence. This is going to be a tough fight for Ko, especially making like a debut. I know he calls himself the Korean Tyson. He better hope he can move and hit like fucking Tyson against this guy, because
I didn't see it in his last fight.
Yeah, Goff he's a fucking terror, bro. He's going to walk forward. He's going to throw volume. He's going to eat shots. He's going to give shots. He's going to hold ground until you break. Like, that's what he does. He's not the best technical person. He's not even like a great wrestler, but he does have it in his back pocket. This is Goff's fight to lose, man. He's the favorite at -148. I think people have some pause just because he gets hit a lot, but unless Trey Waters took every ounce of durability out of him, which I don't think he did, I think it was just a crazy war, and I think Goff is not going to be able to have too many of those. I think Ko is going to be in some real trouble in this fight. I think Goff is going to put him in bad position and land crazy amounts of damage. I also think the UFC is probably higher on Goff than they are on Ko. I think that's why this fight feels like a little bit of a, hey man, do your thing fight, you know?
Yeah, fuck it,
Yeah.
One for the crowd, you know what I'm saying?
This might be playable at -148 low key, because I trust Goff's power and his chin, man.
I think that line is fair.
Yeah.
A little volatile, so it's a little scary, but I think it's fair.
Yeah, this is one of the guys. I know he fights a little bit like Homer Simpson, but the dude, he's scary motherfucker, man. That's just what it is. So give me Goff via ITD for this fight.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight, and is currently constituted the co-main event of the evening. We have gamer Mateusz Gamrot going one-on-one with Mr. Highlight Ludovic Klein. Gamrot, 24-3 overall, fighting out of Poland, hailing from Poland, 34 years old. Klein, 23-4-1, fighting out of Slovakia, repping Slovakia, 30 years old. Some people have said this probably should be the main event. I agree and I disagree. It's definitely going to be an entertaining fight, and I probably do wish this fight was 5 rounds instead of 3. I think the consensus is that people are going to be picking Gamrot here. Klein really hasn't been tested by this high level of a grappler, so far in his UFC experience. Gamrot has fought some decent comp. Striking, while, serviceable, leaves something to be desired. I think Klein is going to be the better striker here. Give me Klein for the upset here. I know he hasn't been tested. I know we haven't seen it, but the man is a walking fucking pharmaceutical company. He looks good in there. He's going to have the striking advantage. I think this fight is going to be closer than people expect. It's probably going to go all 3 rounds, but I'm leaning Klein here.
Yeah, I'm with you on this dog play. And I'm about to get very disrespectful towards Batus Gamrot. He didn't beat Armin Sarukian. We were one of the few podcasts that picked Dan Hooker against him, and we won that bet. We cashed that fucking bet. If Batus Gamrot cannot comfortably get this fight to the floor for long spurts of time and then get into wrestling exchanges, he's going to have a hard time with Klein. Klein, yes, I understand he's moving up from 45 to 55, but he is physically still very big for this weight class because he was killing himself to make 45. He just performs better at this weight class. I have a hard time believing that Gamrot is going to be able to move this guy around whenever he wants to. He is at a clear striking disadvantage against Klein. Klein's going to lamp him on the feet. Gamrot, not the best chin. Gamrot lost to Hooker, got dropped by RDA. Old ass RDA, by the way. Rafael Fiziev, okay, you give him that one. Lost to Beneil Dariush, who I think is a fucking fraud, to be frank. I saw a fraud lost to a fraud. You know, I mean. And then
this is getting spicy.
They didn't beat Armin Sarukian. He didn't win that fight. I don't know how people judge that fight for Gamrot. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I thought Armin clearly won the fight. Yeah, you could say it was close, but there was a guy who clearly landed more damage than the other, and a guy who was able to win the wrestling exchanges, in my opinion. This is dog or pass. I get why I guess Klein is the dog here because of the level of competition, but this is a Gamrot who is 34 years old, took a metric ton of damage against Dan Hooker his last fight, got his ass whooped, to be frank. This is a Ludovic Klein who makes good decisions, does a lot of good work. I mean, I get it. Gamrot's got 3 inches in height on him. I just think Klein is coming into his own and Gamrot is slowly letting the division catch up to him. That's how I feel about this fight. I feel like this is a crossroads fight. If I have a hunch here, I feel like the UFC is trying to push the younger, more spectacular guy, which is why they weren't giving Gamrot any backup positions to fill it in case the title contender fell out or et cetera, et cetera. They're not feeding him those guys. For me, this is dog or pass. I think Klein is going to shock a lot of people. I don't think he's going to be able to be controlled the way people think he's going to get controlled in this fight. Give me Ludovic Klein for the upset here.
Next fight on the card at women's flyweight and is currently constituted the main event of the evening. We have cold-blooded Erin Blanchfield going one-on-one with the future Macy Barber. Blanchfield, 13-2 overall, fighting out of New York, 26 years old. Barber, 14-2 overall, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 27 years old. Whether you like it or not, this is the main event. This is going to be a 5-rounder. I like both women here. I don't think it's going to be an easy go for either one of them. I think the majority consensus is on Blanchfield. She has, on paper, the wrestling advantage. Macy Barber does struggle against wrestlers. She doesn't have the greatest takedown defense. But that being said, I mean, Macy Barber's had a layoff. I don't know if it's health related or not. I kind of have to do a little digging on that one just to, confirm. If it's not health related and she's just been taking some time off for whatever reason, Macy Barber is the better striker in my opinion. Macy Barber, after the first round, round 2, round 3, and now they're giving her an extra 2 rounds. Since this is a 5-round fight, that woman can strike, and she's a fucking savage. She turns into some kind of mythical creature with the hands once it gets past the first round. Blanchfield, on the other hand, she does have the jiu-jitsu. She does have the grappling. Doesn't really have the best entries for a wrestler, in my opinion, and is probably going to get outstruck by Barber for the most part. She does have power, but, Barber does have the strike, and I got to give her that. I'm going to be tentatively leaning Blanchfield here. I feel like that's a bit safe, but this fight is going to be closer than I think. That's probably my breakdown there because this one feels funny.
Yeah, if you want a hot take, I think this is dog or pass, and it's dog or pass for a couple of reasons. Macy Barber sitting at a plus 200. I think this fight should be lined at minus 150 to maybe return plus 130, to be frank with you. I think the line is way too wide. I understand Macy's been off, but she is working with Ben Askren in her camp with her wrestling. She is training in Colorado. She's going to have a good gas tank. Erin Blanchfield struggled to get Manon Fiorot down and struggled to get Rose Namajunas down. What do those two athletes have in common with Macy Barber? They're both more athletic than Erin Blanchfield. That's what it is. And if you want the real, this is probably the most physical girl that Erin Blanchfield's going to deal with in the clinch. Macy can strike in the clinch. She does drop elbows from time to time. She is better with the space and landing damage. She's younger. She hasn't been tested as much. I guess this is why you have to lean Blanchfield, and she is going to be the lean just because she has the wrestling and grappling edge here. Blanchfield's just going to get you to the cage and try to drag you down, or try to get a back ride and trip you, or get the body lock and inside trip you, or get the back ride and then try to get the lockdown on the opposite far hand. So time off benefits someone like Macy, who can make not just incremental but huge jumps in between camps. I feel like I want to hear her talk this week. I want to see where her headspace is at. I want to see what she's added to the camp. I want to hear everything. I don't see how she's a plus 200 outside of you saying inactivity. If Blanchfield cannot get this fight to the floor, she is going to get beat the fuck up. Blanchfield, not the best hand. Yeah, she's working on a couple of things, but thoroughly outclassed by Manon on the feet. Very close fight with Rose Namajunas. Like, I know they gave it a unanimous decision, but you could argue it should have been split. Rose had her moments in that fight, and Rose is a girl who doesn't belong fighting at flyweight, and she had trouble extensively holding her down in certain positions in that fight. And I was high on Blanchfield a couple of months ago, maybe about a year ago. I've seen too many developmental areas that she needs to keep up with someone as well-rounded as Macy Barber. And she still may win this fight just because she's so dominant with her jiu-jitsu, but she's not the better all-around fighter here. She's not. Macy can wrestle. Macy can grapple. Not at the level of Blanchfield for the grappling, but Blanchfield can't strike for shit. This is going to be tough sledding low-key. This fight's going to be much closer than people give it credit for. Give me Blanchfield for the lean, but give me Macy Barber as the possible dog play here.
And that does it for our UFC coverage. Moving right along to the sweet science we're going into, and my best Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition voice, Japan. And we'll do the main and co-main here. We'll start with, I'm not sure what the main and co-main is, but I'm going to pick the first fight I see. It's going to be Yoshiki Takei going one-on-one with Gustafsson Tung D. This is a fight that we covered a while back. Got canceled twice. Third time might be a charm. It's for the WBO World Bantamweight title. Yoshiki, perfect. 10-0, fighting out of Japan, hailing from Japan, 28 years old. Tong D, perfect. 15-0, fighting out of Thailand, hailing from Thailand, 31 years old.
Yeah, this fight is super interesting just because Takei, I still feel like it's a developing fighter. The only reason I'm going to lean Takei in this fight is because Takei has fought the better brand of competition, and Tong D is super low volume. We covered this fight a few episodes ago, so if you want, you can refer back to, I believe it's episode 81. If I'm correct, that's how long ago on 101, so it's 20 episodes of a difference, which has been a while since this fight was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I think look for the Christmas hats.
Yeah, but if you're asking me, I just think this is Takei's fight to lose. I don't like Tong D's volume. I don't think he throws a lot of punches, not as many punches as you like. Takei, even though he's still developing, I feel like he does have clear advantages physically, and he's just a more gifted fighter here. What I do like in this fight a lot is the knockdowns. Tong D can get dropped by Takei. Takei hits very hard. Takei fades late in fights and tends to get in trouble. He had a big step up in competition his last fight. Barely escaped. He got hurt in the close to the end of it, but he did win. I thought he was the rightful winner. Give me Takei here. I'll say by knockout, but I would not be surprised if this fight goes to decision.
Next fight on the card, and what I think is the main event, but I'm not sure, for the IBF World Super Featherweight title, we have Montanori Rikishi going one-on-one with El Sugar Eduardo Nunes. Rikishi is 16-1 overall, fighting out of Japan, hailing from Japan, 30 years old. Nunes is 27-1 overall, fighting out of Mexico, repping Mexico, 27 years old.
Yeah, this fight is a fight you need to circle. This fight's gonna be a banger. People are gonna get hit in this fight. People are gonna bleed. It's gonna be violent as fuck, and it's gonna be
super necessary.
Eduardo Nunes, I would say, is probably the favorite here, and I think he should probably be the rightful favorite because he makes better decisions off of his back foot. But this guy Rikishi, man, I mean, when you talk about all action, this dude is straight Mexican Japan style, because a lot of these Japanese fighters are come forward and die with the fucking sword in their chest, bro. They come ready to melt. LRB melted. He lands good damage, hits hard, throws in good combinations. I just think Eduardo is a little more sound defensively. I'm curious as to the unders in this fight. Rikishi has been stopped before in one of his earlier fights. Eduardo is a guy who has surprisingly good volume for someone as muscular as himself. He is a guy who recently had his first fight out of Mexico in his last fight and beat up a former contender, and it was a good fight. He had a very good performance. This fight shouldn't be too much different. because I feel like Rikishi is a guy who walks into shots. Eduardo's going to be landing shots at will here, in my opinion. This is a tough fight for Rikishi just because this guy is super durable and is probably not going to go away. Can walk him down. I just trust Eduardo to make better decisions off of his back foot if he's being pressured. So for that reason, I'm going to lean Eduardo. I'm going to say by knockout, but man, if this fight went to decision, I'm not going to be surprised because both of these gentlemen are uber fucking durable. And I'm only leaning a possible knockout because Rikishi has been stopped before, but it was a long time ago. Eduardo has good counter-punching ability to get it there, but if this fight went to decision, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm curious as to the unders. What I do love about this fight is the knockdowns, because I think someone's going to get dropped in this fight for sure.
Moving right along from Japan to Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. We have a main and co-main brought to you by Matchroom Boxing, and we'll kick it off with the co-main event. We have MJ Morajan, hope I said his first name right, Akhmadaliev, can't believe I said his last name correctly, going one-on-one with Luis La Sombra Castillo. Akhmadaliev is 13-1 overall, fighting out of Indio, California, but repping Uzbekistan, 30 years old. Castillo is 31-6 overall, fighting out of Mexico, repping Mexico, 29 years old.
Yeah, this is a stay busy fight for Akhmadaliev. We're just waiting for Akhmadaliev to fight Inoue at this point, which is the fight that we want to see at this weight class.
Oh yeah.
Give Inoue a lot of credit. He's literally fighting the best contenders in his weight class, so there's no discussion as to his undisputed status. Akhmadaliev is a very good fighter. Luis Castillo is out of his depth in this fight, in my opinion. I think this is a very tough fight for him. He's going to have a lot of trouble with Akhmadaliev's boxing ability, his ring IQ, and his power, to be frank. I think Akhmadaliev gets him out in the middle rounds. I'll make that short and sweet. We don't got to spend any much more time left on this fight. I think Akhmadaliev packs him up.
Moving right along to the main event of this particular card, we have Manuel Gallegos. I think that's how you say the last name, going one-on-one with Calico, and this is a run back, and this is for the US WBC light heavyweight title. Gallegos El Meno is 21-2-1 overall, the champion fighting out of Mexico, repping Mexico, 27 years old. Big stepper Calico, 9-1-1 overall, the challenger fighting out of Jersey City, New Jersey, 28 years old.
Yeah, this fight is dog or pass for a lot of reasons. I think Calico, the more technical boxer, knows how to fight off his back foot, does throw the uppercut cleanly, but he is going against the guy in Miguel Gallegos, who this is his first fight, his last fight, moving up from super middleweight to light heavyweight. And man, I don't know how the fuck he made super middleweight. He is huge for the weight class. His last fight at super middleweight was against Diego Pacheco, who was a fucking killer, to be frank. And he was super depleted fighting him. And then when you seen him fight Calico, he looked hydrated up. He looked way more energetic, threw in volume, hit harder, was able to wear shots a little better. I like the knockdowns also in this fight with Calico. This fight is a banger because Gallegos is going to bring the fight to him. I'm surprised that Calico's sitting at a favorite here. Calico is a guy who, unless he's extremely conditioned, so I'm going to be paying attention to how he looks on the scale, he's going to have to fight off his back foot for most of this fight. This is a guy in Gallegos who walks forward, throws volume, is a little defensively irresponsible, which is why I guess they gave Calico the nod in terms of the favorite, in terms of Vegas and how they lined it. If we're being honest, like, if he starts going to the body the same way he did in the last fight and starts burying Calico with pressure, this is light heavyweight. The people at super middleweight are much more technical. As you go down in weight, the technicality gets better. He moved up in weight, which I think is working out good for him. And he is significantly bigger than Calico. And it's crazy because he was the guy moving up. So for me, this is dog or pass. I don't hate a shot on Gallegos. I think Calico's going to have his hands full for most of this fight. If it's Calico, I wouldn't be surprised at the knockout because he does hit hard. Gallegos probably can stop him too. But this fight can go to decision just because of the styles clash here. So for me, what I do have the most confidence on in this fight is knockdowns. I think someone's going to get dropped in this fight, whether Calico catches Gallegos coming in sloppily, catches him with a good shot, drops him, or Gallegos just buries him with pressure and then knocks him down again. He knocked him down 3 times in the last fight over the course of 8 to 9 rounds. So this is dog or pass. Gallegos is live as fuck. For the podcast, I'll lean Gallegos, but don't be super surprised if I go Calico later in the week if I see that his conditioning is up to the par that I think it belongs at.
And last but not least, moving right along to Las Vegas, Nevada, we have probably the biggest card, a PBC card headlined by Plant, co-headlined by Charlo. That's the fight we're going to dive into first. We got Jamal Charlo, the hitman, going one-on-one with Cornflake Thomas Lamana. Charlo is perfect, 33-0. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, 35 years old. La Mana, 39-5-1. Fighting out of New Jersey, 33 years old.
They have Charlo at a heavy favorite. I think rightfully so. I don't think this Cornflake guy is got anything for him.
The man's fucking name is Cornflake.
Yeah. Defensively irresponsible. Does hit hard. He's big, but I just don't think skill-wise he's even on Charlo's level. Not even close, to be frank. This is a get-right fight for Charlo. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years. He's had a lot of troubles outside the ring, so you do question like where he's at. But Jamal, historically good chin, very good off his back foot. Both Charlo brothers are very good counter punchers, and they're guys that go to the body. Brother competition by far on the Charlo side. Yeah, he's 35, but he has taken off time. That's the only thing that really scares me off this fight. Inactivity in boxing is very dangerous, and MMA as well, but particularly boxing, especially against a big, strong kid like this. But if you're asking me if the kid's live, no. It's just not. I don't feel very comfortable playing a bet on him because I don't think he's very good.
Wait, you're telling me Cornflake isn't live?
No.
That's insane.
No, not against this guy.
That's outrageous.
I don't think he's very good, and he got stopped by Lara, who's already 85 years old, and that the power is the last thing to go. Lara's a very good technical boxer, arguably beat Canelo, but I just don't think Cornflake's got it for Jamal, even on Jamal on his worst day, low-key, and this might be his worst day because he's going to be shaking the ring rust off of this during this fight. So give me Jamal Charlo by mid to late round knockout. But the thing is, like, this is a fight where Jamal might be trying to get back into the motion of things. So this fight could easily go to decision. So if that line looks nice, definitely don't hate you playing that. So we'll see what it looks like close to the fight time, but definitely follow us on all social media platforms on how we're going to play this fight.
Next fight on the card, and is currently constituted the main event and the last fight we're going to be breaking down on this episode. We have Sweet Hands, Caleb Plant going one-on-one with Toro Armando Resendiz. Plant, 23-2 overall. Fighting out of Nashville, Tennessee, 32 years old. Resendiz, 15-2 overall. Fighting out of Mexico, repping Mexico, 26 years old.
Yeah, this fight, like the last fight, they're super wash fights, low-key. Armando's going to give a little more resistance because he's a little more active. He's also going to walk forward on Plant and give Plant the fight that he wants to make this fight entertaining. But Plant has the experience edge. He's going to have the size edge, knows how to work from the outside. Showed in his last fight that he is a good inside boxer as well. His chin's a little questionable, but this guy is not as explosive as McCumbee. Not even close. He's just super Mexican style, puts his chin down, throws overhands, throws a ton of volume. Plant's gonna be able to pick him apart from the outside, especially if the only way this fight's gonna be entertaining is if Plant plays with his food. I think Plant can find the knockout here. This guy did get stopped his 2 fights ago. He had an impressive performance against Jarrett Hurd, but everyone's beating up Jarrett Hurd these days, unfortunately. Jarrett Hurd is way past his prime, and everyone's beating up on the poor guy these days. So it wasn't like the most impressive performance. It wasn't the biggest name that he's beaten. Then he got stopped in the fight after, got a knockout the fight after, and now he's fighting a guy that's leaps and bounds much better than him. Give me Caleb Plant here, mid to late round stoppage. I think he finds the E trigger here. This should be an exciting fight. Armando's gonna walk into damage and try to give damage, but Caleb Plant, I think, has him covered everywhere, to be frank with you. I think he has better skills. He's bigger. He has decent power, and he's very smart. So,
I mean, listen, when I seen this PBC card and I seen Charlo and I seen Plant, I thought they were fighting each other.
yeah, it's a shame that they're not.
And to be honest, I feel like PBC knows exactly what they're doing. They're both on the same card. They're both going to be probably talking shit to each other during the press conference leading up to this fight. We know what this is. This is 2 warm-up fights for both gentlemen, where hopefully the next fight for both gentlemen is each other.
I agree. And I don't like that fight for Jamal. Like, I think Caleb's just going to pick him apart low-key. And it's crazy because you would think they're probably going to start talking some shit, but apparently there was like video footage of them giving each other dap already. And I'm like, dude, he slapped you in the face. Like, it's on site for you low-key. Like, that's how I would play it. I know they're supposed to be professionals, but maybe Jamal is probably that's what just scares me. He's going through some renaissance. Yeah, maybe Cornflake is live. Like, I don't know, because if he's finding God or something, man, I'm fucking scared. I really am.
Don't Deontay Wilder me here.
Oh my goodness. It's just that Cornflake has such a bad chin.
He's got to knock him out by accident.
Yeah. I feel like Jamal could slip on a banana peel and crack him.
Yeah.
And knock him flush out. So I don't like this fight, the planned fight for Jamal, considering if Jamal's going through some renaissance with his life, because he just got out of jail, if I'm correct, and a whole bunch of out of the ring shit. So both Charlo brothers got some fucking problems. Let's just call it what it is. But
I digress.
Give me Plant by mid to late round stoppage here. He should be able to find the stoppage on this kid.
And that does it for this episode episode 101 of the Axe to Combat podcast. That's all we got for you, ladies and gentlemen. Before we wrap it up, my brother, tell them what the fucking deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Thank you for tuning in for episode 101. Stunt 101, as the good G unit would say.
Hey.
Love you guys. Holla at you guys. See you guys next week for episode 102.